Running drugs for drug cartels can be a blast. Welcome aboard. So, Jeremy, you probably know about what the U.S. military is doing with a lot of these drug cartel speedboats.
Personally, I think it's exactly what the Coast Guard should have been doing a long time ago.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I've got a great story for you. It just came up not long ago, about 2 hours ago. The Pentagon says it struck another suspected drug boat in the Pacific, killing 3.
Can I get on a little rant for a minute?
Go for it.
I can't stand that word suspected drug boat. You know what? There's a t-shirt that says, you know what? No pun intended. Intend your puns, damn it. Stop saying suspected. Somebody believed it was true. Have a backbone and say, we're going to back them. And we're going to say, they thought it was true. So we're going to report that they thought it was true. And stop saying suspected.
Well, that's what suspected means. You thought it was true.
No, it's a stupid lawyer. It's like an abundance of caution.
It is.
It's a lawyer term, and it's just there. And anybody who believes that word belongs in that kind of statement, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Rant off.
Okay, all right. Intelligence confirmed that the vessel was involved in illicit narcotics smuggling, transiting along a known narco trafficking route and carrying narcotics. The U.S. Southern Command announced in a post on social media. The announcement said the boat was in international waters when it was struck by the Joint Task Force Southern Spear. Now, you're in international waters. No legal issues about being in somebody else's waters at all. If you're in international waters, let's assume that's true. You're fair game.
It's technically, is that privateering? Is that right? You're the history major.
No, privateering is when you allow people to go out and be pirates and attack other ships.
Hold on.
This is the U.S. military.
I'm going to go out. Whoa. Privateering. You were flying under the flag of another country, and you were authorized to do that work.
You had a letter of marque.
You are technically a military vessel at that point.
Well, you had a letter of marque. Marque.
I'm just going to ask, and this is just me, thought experiment. International waters, and I'm just going to pick countries, Brazil and America. Brazilian flag flying on the ship. America decides something is going wrong. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. They take out that ship, sink that ship.
Mm-hmm.
Is that technically, very, very gently, an act of war?
That's a great question, and it could be, but it's not like we've done this several times. Oh, wait.
No. This is me, the construction guy.
I get you.
The history guy. I'm not. I think it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong. Do more of it, because you know what? It's going to make those people think a little twice.
Well, let me read this part to you. It was the 21st known attack on drug boats by the U.S. military since early September in what it has called a justified effort to disrupt the flow of narcotics into the United States. These strikes have killed more than 80 people, according to Pentagon figures. Lawmakers in the U.S., read probably the Democrats, human rights groups, read probably left-wing lunatics, and U.S. allies have raised questions about the legality of the attacks. The Trump administration has said it has the legal authority to carry out the strikes, with the Justice Department providing a legal opinion that justifies them and argues that U.S. military personnel who carry out the operations are immune from prosecution. Let me give you my thought.
Okay.
President is commander-in-chief. He can do anything he wants for 60 days within 48 hours. After the fact, he has to notify Congress. I have a feeling that Congress knows we just took out a drug boat. I have no problems with this.
No, don't get me wrong. I have no problems with this whatsoever. And I am absolutely a fan of the idea of, listen, let's take out a few of these so that nobody wants to do it.
I am tickled pink about these cartel drug boats being taken out. The only thing more pink than me being tickled pink is the pink mist of these people coming down.
Hey.
Well, they're no longer people. They're kind of a mist of, let's just say, unaliveness.
Well,
and I'm sorry, we've more than 80 people in these 21 attacks against drug boats. How many people would have taking those drugs
today died of an overdose? That's the question.
More than 80.
Because I do know this fact, and this isn't really up for debate. Pure fentanyl, 2 grains of salt, not big kosher pieces, those 2 little tiny cubes. That's all it takes of pure fentanyl to kill a 200-pound human. Now, granted, I'm a little bigger. Give me 3 cubes. But still, 3 little tiny grains of salt. That's all it takes. And I can still remember right around 2022, there was a table, and it was just one of those plastic 6 foot by 2 foot, 3 foot, folding Lifetime tables.
Okay.
And it had these quart-sized baggies, not stuffed full, just decently full, layering it, maybe 2 layers thick. So imagine, 6 foot table, quart-sized baggies, not stupid full, 2 layers thick. That was enough to kill every man, woman, and child in the United States with pure fentanyl. And they had busted it in a truck bed, granted, tiny little amount. And it was the biggest bust to date in Arizona, or in the United States. And they busted it in Arizona being come across the border. How much can you fit in a boat that isn't being checked?
I just looked it up. The estimate per day of people dying in drug overdoses, illegal drugs, not medications, which also does happen. It's 105,000 deaths a year. If you do the math, it's about 288 deaths per year. 280 per day. I'm sorry, 288 people unalive because of overdosing. So these 80 drug cartel mules, whatever you want to call them, that are being taken out in these speedboats, that's a price I'm willing to pay.
Them.
It's a price I'm willing to pay, those 80 people being taken out.
In 21, which is since early September. So is that right? It's called just 21 first tank by drug boats in the U.S.
Since early September.
So we're talking 3 months, roughly? 2.5 months? 2.5 months?
Yeah, give it
2.5 months. So 2.5 months, that's, let's say 45 days.
Couple every day.
45 days. So yeah,
every week, couple every week.
No, it's not even that. Yeah, it's like, what? 1 every 2 days?
Sure.
Isn't that
should be more?
A couple every 2 days. I'm absolutely okay with it. I mean, no offense. If we take out triple that number of boats, I'm okay with it. My only concern is what does that look like in the idea of international waters? I know in previous administrations there was piracy issues and they were not being dealt with. Does this kind of fall along those same lines?
Well, you asked a question. What does this look like in international waters? And here's what it looks like. It looks like a pink mist. If you're running drugs for the drug cartels, maybe it's time to quit. I think I'm sorry. Dealing with the head of whatever cartel you're in might be safer than dealing with the Hellfire missile. Stop running drugs. Maybe it's time to go into something else.
Well, and when we have hardcore heroin addicts afraid to keep doing their heroin because of the fentanyl problem, I have to say, I don't see a problem with this.
Drug use in this country is a big problem.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm partially to blame because in my state, our state, there was a proposition years ago saying, let's legalize green stuff.
It's funny. Even our DOJ didn't want to legalize green stuff when that happened. Even our DOJ didn't want to do it.
And people were saying, well, it's not going to lead to anything worse. And it seems like the drug problem has gotten worse. Now, it may not be because of the green issue. It could be because of other issues, the economy or whatever. But this drug use is just bad. And yes, I understand that a lot of people get addicted because of prescription drugs.
Yes.
But we're not talking prescription drug addiction. But we need to get off of these drugs. And my understanding is a lot of these drugs like fentanyl and heroin, they're getting pushed through the southern border from China. And I think they're learning from their own history because they had an opium addiction. And I think they're trying to do the same to us.
Well, it's funny. You talk about the green stuff and that. And in 2021, 22, I took a motorcycle ride up to very near the Canadian border and then back down. And I purposefully avoided all highways. So I drove through these little towns, these little back towns, stayed in some places where literally, everything closed at 6 o'clock at night. And the gas station didn't exist anymore because there weren't enough people to buy gas. But in every single town I came to, there was always a dispensary of green things.
Yeah.
And the one thing I could tell you, it's very unscientific, but I drove up California. I rode up California. I rode up Oregon. I rode up Washington. I crossed over to the ocean side, and then I rode back down. And I'm not exaggerating when I say in every single case of every single town, I found three things in every single town. I found a dispensary. I found a homeless problem. And I found a jobless problem in the sense that people were not applying for the jobs that were there. There are help wanted signs everywhere. So let me get this straight. We have people living on the streets and people wanting to hire someone to do work that they are in desperate need of. I didn't just ride by and look at the sign. I talked to these people. I stopped. I spent time. And the commonality factor amongst all that was there was a place that sold green stuff. And it really, really changed. Before that ride, before I went and did that, I had kind of an, I like my whiskey, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
After that ride and riding up through all those areas, literally from where we live in California, all the way up to almost the Canadian border, and then back down on those three states that are famous for their green things. And it was shocking to see the correlation between joblessness, homelessness, and places that sell green things.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, let me show you something else. This I just pulled up from MS Now. Exclusive. Dozens killed in U.S. boat strikes remain identified. Now, this came out about a week ago.
Unidentified.
Families fear speaking out. Governments in the region have said little publicly, and the Trump administration has not disclosed the names of the dead. I actually know some of the names of the dead. I know their cartel names. You got Misty.
Gosh.
You got Foggy.
Oh.
Poor Hazy. Hazy was a great guy who was just, bringing over tons and tons of fentanyl to the United States.
But to be fair, I'm going to put it out here.
You got Vapey.
But on a serious note here, this is serious. People are going to read this. Families fear speaking out. Governments in the region have said little publicly, and the Trump administration has not disclosed names of the dead. Can I hold on, go back up. I just want to hit that. Families fear speaking out. You know what? I actually know some people who have lived in some areas of Central America, and they are absolutely for fear of speaking out. You're absolutely right. Because if they even utter a word about what goes on in their town, in their area,
mm-hmm.
they will be killed by their cartel.
Yeah.
If they said Bob was on that boat, they would be killed by the cartel.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely. Families' fear of speaking out has nothing to do with what just happened.
And I'm going to be honest.
Governments in the region have said little publicly. What region are we talking about? It was in international waters. And if we do want to draw a line and pick the closest country, are we saying that country had something directly to do with the boat that was in international waters that just happened to be passing by their country? So, yeah, governments in the region still have little to publicly say. Yeah, duh. Hey, way over there where we don't control, something happened. Yeah. And then Trump administration has not disclosed the names of the dead. I'd be willing to bet the Trump administration doesn't know who the names of the dead specifically are.
I actually would disagree. I think they know exactly who these people are because they've said, yeah, we know what's going on. I think they know exactly who these people are.
Don't get me wrong. I'm sure they have an idea. I'm sure they have this, but I don't think they went, hey, you know what? Before we bomb them, we're going to check their IDs.
Well, how do you think, one of the things I'm thinking is, how do we know what's going on? And I think a lot of it has to do with military surveillance. We do have people in the military and in the government who hack into computers and things like that. But I wonder if we have, I don't know I can't remember the official name.
All that aside.
Live assets. People that work for the cartels who've turned around and said, don't get me. Bob is on the boat.
Trump administration has not disclosed the names of the dead. Do you really think we have that level?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I do. Yeah. Well,
I don't think we do in that respect.
Well, that's because you're wrong.
I could be. I absolutely could be. But I just don't think, do we know, Jorge did this and, Jose did that? And probably. Yeah. And don't get me wrong.
Don't forget Bob. Bob is important.
And Bob was the captain of the boat.
He was.
But again, we are in international waters. We are doing this covertly. That title does two things. It speaks to the masses, obviously, and that's my biggest complaint about the internet is 2% can rule the world as long as they're loud enough. And the other thing it does is it's just completely wrong. It plays on the ignorance of people. It plays on the people who don't understand where a comma goes and why. It plays on the fact that people don't understand what international waters mean. It plays on the fact that people don't understand anything more than what they heard on some stupid reality TV show.
I love, by the way, this is connected to MSNBC. Up to 50 people killed in U.S. drone strikes in the Caribbean and Pacific remain publicly unknown 2 months after the Trump administration began attacking suspected drug boats, according to MSNBC interviews with congressional officials, human rights monitors, and journalists in the region. Pentagon officials have not publicly disclosed the name of the 69 people the U.S. says it has killed. Let me share exactly what I'm thinking on this. I don't care. My guess is, if one of those boats happened to be the wrong place, wrong time, hey, it happens.
Well, hold on. Just go a little farther down. Local journalists in Venezuela, Colombia, and Trinidad tell MSNBC that family members fear speaking out, worried that they're,
worried that they...
Sorry, he moved it, and I have trouble reading as it is. Worried that they could be retaliated against by drug traffickers. Hold on. So what we're saying is that family members knew their people in their family were trafficking drugs. Now, granted, we talked about this in a previous podcast, I think. There are major amounts of corruption in this world, and sometimes you just have to live with that. But I don't think it's that Trump up, and let's be honest, I don't even like saying that. It's our government trying to keep law and order in our country, and people blatantly decided to break that law and order. And I don't think they're worried about our government. They're worried about the fact that they were going to say that Bob is working for this cartel, because the cartel can't do anything but rule with an iron fist. And they're going to go Bob's family so that they don't get flipped by our CIA, our FBI, our whoever. Well, go talk more about the cartel.
Let me show you about this. Let me show you this. In an interview, just above that, Alejandro Carranza, killed in one of the initial strikes, is one of two Colombians who have been publicly reported as being on boats that were attacked. They weren't eliminated; they were attacked.
Yeah,
they're afraid. We keep hearing that from this reporter.
To be fair, hold on. But they deserved it, just like a bank robber is attacked.
In an interview, Carranza's niece, Lisbeth Perez, told MSNBC that her uncle was a fisherman and her family has not received information or assistance from the Colombian or American government. We haven't received any help, she said. Okay, first off, they've been taking out, from everything I've seen, these high-end speedboats. Now, I'm not a fisherman. I get very seasick. Do you go fishing? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you go fishing?
That's a complicated question. If we're going to play it like a smoker, yes, I have fished.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. If you're on a super duper high-end speedboat with lots of drugs on it, heading north to the United States, my guess is you're not a fisherman, because she's not saying, the way I read this, oh, he was out fishing, one line. He was an outright fisherman. Go ahead.
Hold on. Where does it say he was a fisherman? I want to point that out just so I can see it again. Uncle was a fisherman. Now, was he a fisherman in the sense that I'm a fisherman? Like, yeah, I've thrown a line out a few times. I'm a fisherman. Was he a fisherman in the sense that he worked every day tirelessly to go find proper schools of fish so that he could provide for his family? Or was that really, really high-end speedboat filled out as a fishing vessel?
We're going to end it with this. You have to go, how many paragraphs down is this? It's quite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the 8th quote-unquote paragraph. The dead likely included a mix of low-level drug traffickers who knew of illicit cargo and day laborers or fishermen who did not. I very much doubt the day laborers. Day laborers? What are you going to do? Hey, I need my
it's
yard
more than
done.
A day to get there.
Yeah,
so
no.
You're not a day laborer
no.
anymore.
According to family members, human rights group, and journalists in the region.
Day laborers is the new 2020s term for henchmen.
There you go. And, I'm going to say this. To whoever wrote this or has the opinion that this is...
Scroll to the bottom. Who is that?
Whoever said this... let's see. Scroll to the bottom.
There was a picture, wasn't there?
Here we go.
There you go. Those were the people.
Hey, you guys writing this? I'm just going out on a limb here. I'm sorry. My opinion, it's just my opinion. I'm allowed an opinion.
You absolutely are.
I'm calling BS on your entire point of view on this. This is such nonsense.
Hold on. I just caught this little statement at the bottom here. It says Senator Rand Paul right there. Senator Rand Paul, an outspoken opponent of the strike, said that a quarter of the boats stopped by the U.S. Coast Guard on suspicion of carrying drugs near the U.S. are found to have no narcotics. So 75% of the boats that they think have narcotics have narcotics. Think about that for a minute. 75%. If I pull 10 boats over, 7.5 of them had narcotics. Think about that. That's a big number.
Oh, absolutely. That is a huge number. Out of 20, 15 boats had it. And here's the thing. In this one paragraph, the statement from Rand Paul, they pulled those boats over, meaning they didn't blast them out of the water. My guess is the people being blasted out of the water are either A, running, or B, we are solid in our evidence that these guys are drug runners. Because I've seen some of the video that has come out. Doesn't mean every case is like this. Could be the exception.
Yeah.
Where these guys are running like crazy. Well, if you're running from the cops, I'm going to go on a limb and say you're probably guilty. Yep. Every time somebody's pulled over from the cops and something goes wrong, 99.9% of the time, you're doing something you shouldn't do to elicit that response from officers. I've been pulled over by officers before. One guy had his hand on his safety device, and he was ready to take it out and aim it at me. He was very nervous. I had no clue why. My hands were on that wheel, and I was, yes, sir, no, sir, may I move, sir? And when he came back with my license, he was like, oh, hey, you can go. They were looking for somebody. If I would have ran, it would have showed, hey, I was doing something. So at the end of the day, I'm good with this. I think Trump is doing a great job. What about you?
I absolutely think this is exactly what needs to happen. And I don't see anything wrong with it. Honestly, anything that can make us safer. That's all I care about.
Well, what makes you safe? Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. And Jeremy's favorite thing, make sure you comment, because we take turns responding to our comments. We love to hear from you guys. And with that,
The only part I get to say that I like.
oh, no, go ahead.
And with that, another puppy gets to live because we asked and begged for people to subscribe and like and comment and all that. We'll see you at the next stop.
Running drugs for running drugs
for drugs.
running drugs